directly with your insurance company. Also a leading roofer, siding, and gutter specialist. H&H Roofing will service all residential, commercial, and agricultural needs. Go to HNHroofs.com for more information or call 402-359-2546.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's a buzz in the air at Kansas. Maybe it's the roar of fans here at the track, or the anticipation of the playoffs as drivers fight to move on to the next round and keep their championship hopes alive. Maybe it's the pulse of the heartland, the thrill of speed, or the sounds of grills sizzling in the campgrounds. Whatever it is, it will be one memorable weekend. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today. Located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, mainly sunny skies, but there is a slight chance of some later in the afternoon. Otherwise, it'll be a hot one today. We'll see an afternoon high of around 93. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of around 67. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies with an afternoon high of around 59. Meteorologist Kyle Bucket for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Big Ten Show. He's the almost famous Adam Carriker. I'm the much less famous Jeff Thurn. Brought to you by Jacobson Seed Company, the hybrid leader, so you have more yield in your field, so you can watch more of the guys on the field come Saturday and Sunday. You don't have to worry about all the nonsense that goes on with our work life. Check out Jacobson Seed Company online for all your seed needs. I'll tell you more about him a little bit later. Now, listen, Adam last week was slacking once again. So for those of you that tuned in, you got to see my impersonation of the aforementioned Adam Carriker. Adam,
below average.
You were below average. You always do this. You always look up at something like there's some like magical man that's going to come down with some wisdom.
Because I'm cutting a wrestling promo on your Rudy Poo candy ass. Come on now.
So that's what I was trying to do. But you say below average though, huh?
I expected better. Maybe it's because your hair was combed and that threw me off. I didn't know what to do with that. Holy crap. I would go to the hair. I don't know why.
I have more questions before we start today because we have plenty of realignment to get to. There's 74,000 different teams now in the Big Ten and the Big 12, and the ACC may be dissolving just like we just saw the Pac-12 dissolve. But two questions. First of all, you look like a guy that enjoys the finer things in life. So I'm going to show this to everyone. Do you ever indulge in Baby Bell cheese. Do you know what this is?
I do not know what that is.
Okay, next
Other
time
than
you're
it's
at the
cheese.
next time you're at the so who does the grocery shopping at your house?
Well, the online, you can order it online now, and then they just bring it out to you in your car. So you don't even have to go in the store anymore. So I haven't gone inside a grocery store in like 6 months, dude.
So next time you're online, you need to type in Baby Bell. All right.
Okay.
The sticker shock is going to shock you, but like, do you like string cheese? Do you like cheeses? Do you like just grabbing a cheese snack and eating it?
I do. I did more when I was a kid than now. I feel like this is out of nowhere, but I'm sure it's leading somewhere.
Oh, it's not.
Where-
I just scarfed. I scarfed down like 3 of them before we started today. So I'm just wondering if you'd ever had these things.
Okay.
So now
We're professional on this show.
absolutely, but people at home are like, "Yeah, dude, I love those things, man." I eat them all. The other guys like, "I'm gonna do what Adam's doing. I'm getting online and buying them next time." All right, cool.
Dude,
So that's the
my
one.
my wife orders them, and half the time I get them, half the time she gets them. But we always just sit on our butts in the car, and normally we're watching the Big Ten show with Jeff Thurn and Adam Carriker as they bring the groceries on out to us.
Perfect. So next time you're ordering them, make sure you get a thing of Baby Bell cheeses, and you get to unwrap some wax that's around the cheese, and then you get to eat the cheese, and like they're expensive, but they're delicious. And question number
paid?
2.
Is this a sponsor? Are we getting paid? No, this is complete. Okay, all right. This works.
I'm just throwing it out there. All right, number 2. We were talking about this before the show. We're going to make some predictions on our. We're going to do 2 shows starting Labor Day weekend instead of just one for all you Big Ten fanatics out there. And we're going to have picks every single week against the spread. We may do like our 3 best picks of the week in the Big Ten, each of us, but we have to have something on the line. And I asked Adam before the show if he had any tattoos. Now, he may be the only NFL player to play in the league that didn't have at least some ink on his body. So you said you didn't. And then the immediate part after that, you said, I am not going to get a tattoo if I lose.
I'm not losing, but I'm not getting a tattoo if I do somehow lose.
So here's the deal. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
So let's put on the line for the people some ink. The other person, so you lose, you can get your initials of your kids, man. You can get something sweet on your body. Come on, man. Come on,
Dude,
man.
No, it's true. This is true. Several times in my life, I've been this close to getting a tattoo, probably at least a half dozen. But I always say I'm going to wait a year. And if I still want this same exact thing in a year, I'll go get it. Every time in a year, it changes. So I haven't figured out something that I want on my body for a year. Yet you are going to dictate that I have to put something on my body as you somehow pull a rabbit out of your rear end. No, I'm not doing it, dude.
Dude, I got the initials of my wife on my shoulder. It's the only tat I got. I'm not like all inked up. Come on. Will you at least consider it? You can get your kid a year from now. You don't want your kids' initials on your body. Come on, man.
I've thought about my kids.
Do you not love your kids or what?
Wow, that escalated quickly. I've thought about my kids. I've thought about my wife, and I don't know. I can't figure out where to put it, how it should look. Even
I'm not asking you to put it on your forehead, man. You can put it somewhere. I'm not asking you to get teardrops for every child. Like, I mean,
the answer is no right now, my friend. No, not at the moment.
Well, one of us is tough enough to get a tattoo, and his name has initials of J and T. That is me.
Have you seen Impractical Jokers? Have you seen Impractical Jokers?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Jaden Smith on Sal's thigh. Okay. Do you remember? Did you see the punishment
what's
where they
wrong
all had
with
to get tattoos?
You can do whatever.
Another one on the other side. I mean, what?
I'm not saying what you get. You just got to get some ink, man, when you lose.
No.
No. All right. We'll continue to push that. Between last week and this week, the Big Ten looks completely different. The Pac-12 has dissolved, and the ACC may be next. Adam, we'll get to the specifics in a second. But, like, what the hell just happened over the last week in college football?
Well, technically, the Pac-12 is not dissolved. It is now the mighty Pac-4, okay? It is a mighty Power 5. I think there's still 5 power conferences if we count the mighty Pac-4. I mean, it's the almighty dollar. That's what it is. You know, it's one of those things where you can make more money if you take teams from other conferences, make your conference bigger, and you've got teams on the East Coast. You've got the Seattle market. You got Phil Knight. You got Nike in Oregon, and now you're down in the LA market, and now you got the DMV, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and now you've got almost everything in between, seemingly. The Big Ten is going to be rolling in. They're already rolling in the dough. They're going to be rolling in so much dough. It's going to make billionaires blush, and it's a phenomenal business model from just making money. When you come to, is it good for college football? I don't really think that it is. Okay. I like 3, 4, 5 conferences. I like things being split up a little bit. I like rivalries. Like, we're not going to get the Civil War anymore, Oregon State. To be clear, people don't get confused, the Civil War. I'm talking about Oregon State. You got the Apple Cup. Okay. Texas A&M, we're finally going to get that back, but Nebraska, Oklahoma's been gone for years. We're not going to have the backyard brawl, and we still haven't had the backyard brawl, which is Pittsburgh, West Virginia, for years. And I know I'm not just talking Big Ten teams here, but I like rivalries, and I miss rivalries, and I understand things change. I have accepted it. I don't have to like it, but at the same time, college football is not going anywhere because its foundation is so strong. It's only going to continue to build and build.
And specifically for the Big Ten, the addition of Washington, the addition of Oregon, they already added UCLA and USC. And it feels like the ACC is where they're going to go next. And that really hinges on whether or not Florida State can get out of their grant of rights deal. If they can, and they can legally get out of that, and that means probably Florida State's going to go to the SEC. That's going to open up Pandora's box for North Carolina and Virginia and these teams that the Big Ten has identified. I still think, Adam, as we think about the ACC and all of this and how that may affect additional teams in the Big Ten, the linchpin to all of it is still Notre Dame. If Notre Dame decides to stay independent, it will not change the ACC with regards to it not dissolving. If Notre Dame wants to join the AC and join a conference, the ACC will stay around. If Notre Dame wants to join the Big Ten, teams are going to start jumping again to the Big Ten and leaving the ACC. I think Notre Dame is a key component in the ACC's demise, or the teams saying, all right, we got Notre Dame, we can stick around. I don't think Notre Dame's going to go to a conference, though. They're already negotiating with NBC. So if we take Notre Dame out of the equation, which means they're not going to the Big Ten, not going to the ACC, the Big Ten is going to start plucking teams from the ACC as soon as Florida State's grant of rights deal is negotiated through the court system. And I would imagine, as we've heard the rumors, teams to jump to the Big Ten would be North Carolina, would be Virginia. Those were the two teams that they were targeting all along. And then you'll kind of go from there. If I'm the Big Ten, I'm taking all comers from the ACC. There's not a team in the ACC that I wouldn't take if I'm the Big Ten.
So 2 parts to that. One, I disagree about Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's arrogance could be their undoing. They don't have the power that they once had. Okay. So for me, all right.
That brand does the power still?
No, they need to join a conference, because here's what's going to happen. And we've talked about this. It's eventually going to be the Big Ten. It's going to be the SEC. And then you said a third conference, and I said, hey, I think you're right. It's going to be the Big 12, which is going to be a conglomerate of everybody else just kind of all rolled into one. And which is ironic, since everyone thought the Big 12 was dead this time 2 years ago. And now they may be one of the only 3 conferences standing, and they may be the largest conference. Right now, there is, if you include Notre Dame, and you should, even though they're not in a conference, there's 69 power conference teams. So if the SEC is at 20 and the Big 10's at 20, okay, that leaves 29. And I don't know why UConn with their basketball programs isn't a power conference team. Topic for another day. So the Big 12 could have anywhere from 20 to potentially 28, 29, 30 potential teams, and they could be the biggest conference. Now, whether that's the best, I don't know. That's a topic for another day. But everybody's going somewhere that can go anywhere. Nobody wants to get left out in the cold. And what's eventually going to happen is you're going to have to be a part of a conference in order to be able to survive and do some of these things. Now, Notre Dame's going to have options. The SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12 will absolutely take Notre Dame. I actually have this crazy, because Notre Dame marches to the beat of their own drum times 10. I have this crazy notion, just like Oregon and Washington, just join the Big 10 at a discount. And then 6 years from now, they'll be a full-fledged member. They're getting the same money everyone else is, but right now they're at a discount. It wouldn't shock me if the Big 12 said, we want Notre Dame and we'll give them a ridiculous deal, way better than everyone else in the conference. Notre Dame says, we're better than everyone else. Up yours, Big 10, SEC, and they go to the Big 12. That wouldn't shock me. Geographically, it makes sense to go to the Big 10.
And it's the one they can win the easiest. They can win that conference.
Well, that too. All those things. It wouldn't shock me if one day they go to the Big 12. Okay.
Be crazy.
I do think they're going to have to join a conference eventually, just the way that things are going. I mean, there could it be potential? I don't think so. I think there'll always be non-conference games, especially, and this was actually tweeted out by a fan, so I want to give them a shout out at Husk Guys. Okay, they said this could be Nebraska's potential 9-game conference schedule in a couple years. Okay, this is very realistic. Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Iowa, USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. Like,
there's 2 wins on there.
Murderer's row slate. And so for that reason, there's enough teams to have, you just stay within your conference and play everybody in your conference, or as many teams as you can every year without non-conference. But because of that, there's always going to be non-conference games, so teams can treat them as preseason games, patsy games, get ready type games. But my question is, if this is my schedule, let's just say I'm Iowa or I'm Wisconsin, okay, and replace a couple of those 2 teams. Am I really going to want to schedule Notre Dame when I'm trying not to beat myself up before my conference schedule and then a conference? You've talked about a 4-team conference playoff potentially, and then you got the 12-team playoff. Am I really? And this is where I think Notre Dame could get in trouble if they don't join a conference. Because other than USC, and is USC going to want to play them? Is that rivalry? Rivalries are losing nostalgia. I actually think the reverse. I think Notre Dame will be okay for about 5 years. And in about 5 years, they're going to have to do something. And that's my opinion.
With them. I want to touch on a couple other things with you. Adam Carriker, Jeff Thurn here with you on the Big Ten Show, brought to you by Jacobson Seed Company, jacobsonseed.com. All kinds of products for your farming needs, corn, soybeans. Hey, got to have the small grain seed treatments, corn treatments, and more. What do you prefer more, Adam? Do you prefer corn on the cob or cream style corn?
Corn on the cob, easy, hands down.
Me too, man. I smashed down some on Sunday, and I had 3 ears of corn. And they were huge. They had to have been Jacobson Seed Company corn. All right, so we have a conundrum on one side for the have-nots. We have plentiful wealth for the haves as they're continuing, and as we saw, Oregon and Washington got less money, but eventually we'll get more. And this conversation, I think, of realignment can be broken down in many different facets, but I want to attack 3 of them with you and go one by one here. First of all, we just got done talking about, is it good for college football? Is it good for college athletics? Because those are 2 different questions, I think, because college football is, singular in this conversation of realignment. Nobody's moving conferences for their lacrosse team or their hockey team or even their college basketball team. It's all based on college football. And I think from a financial standpoint, many would argue it is good for the teams that are in the Power 3, 2, whatever it turns out to be, because they're making more money. But from the on-the-field standpoint, you are losing rivalries, as you talked about, and you discussed that very well. But college athletics, man, I don't really care about the swimming team at Stanford like on a daily basis. But I was thinking about it the last week. I just feel like what a crappy situation if you are a golfer or a tennis player on USC or UCLA, and you have to travel to Rutgers to play, or you're going to go from, like, if the ACC does add Stanford to Clemson, South Carolina, and to me that seems really stupid. Would you be on board if college football just plucked itself away from all other athletics? And these conference realignments don't affect the other sports. I don't know if they could go in reverse at this point, but it feels like there was no consideration for anyone but college football here.
Would I be on board? The answer is yes, but you create a whole nother problem. And that is that the big revenue makers are football first, then a distant second is basketball. And I love all the other sports. I respect all the other sports, but the fact is those other sports need football and basketball to help cover the cost of their sports, because they don't make money, and a lot of them are actually in the red. That just is what it is. I say that with all due respect.
True.
So I don't think you can separate them. If you do, these other sports are going to be in way more trouble. Now, to your point, it's interesting. You think about, it's purely a college football decision what is going on right now, because the conference with more championships than any other conference in America, when you include every sport, it's the Pac-12, the Pac-4. Yeah. But yes, it was the Pac-12. Look how much that mattered. And the school with the most amount of championships is Stanford. And they're hung out to dry right now. Like, It is about college football. And I actually thought college basketball might be included in this a little bit more. But to my UConn point earlier, clearly not near as much as I thought it would have been. Otherwise, they would still be a Power 5, 4-3 conference school. So to me, you can't separate football. The other sports, it sucks because when you play basketball, baseball, softball, all these sports where you don't just have a game once a week and then a bye week a couple times, and you're traveling 2, 3, 4 times a week, and you're making these journeys, it's going to be a nightmare. And they can try to, they can do double headers in baseball, or if you're Ohio State and you're going to go play Oregon, maybe you can the next day play Washington. Okay, you can lessen it a little bit. You can do pods, maybe Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, Nebraska, because it's the westernmost school out of the current Big Ten teams, and you can put them in a pod. There's things you can do to make it better, but there's no way it's actually better overall for the student athlete.
Next, I ask you about the way that these conferences are viewed by the college football playoff. Say the Big 12 stays as is. Say the ACC survives a couple more years. Big 10, SEC. How different is the criteria, do you think, going to be, at least in the immediate sense, for a team from the Big 12 versus a team from the Big 10, from a team from the ACC versus a team from the SEC? Is there going to be disparity or parity when it comes to the teams that are part of the 12-team playoff?
Oh, there's going to be way more SEC and Big Ten teams. It's not even going to be close.
So like an 8-4 team is going to have the leg up on a 10-2 team.
I think they'll be seen equally. I think that will be the debate. It will be, okay, you got this 10-2 team from the ACC or Big 12. Well, this 8-4 team from the SEC, and it'd probably have to be 9-3 from the Big 10. I think
just the one game difference, probably.
Yeah, SEC is given that little extra nod, and so that's going to be the debate. Okay, so you look at it right now. Right now, the SEC champ is automatically in every year. The Big Ten champ is pretty much automatically in every year, with rare exceptions. It's the Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big 12. Can they get in with 4 teams right now in the playoff? Can they get in over a one-loss SEC team? That's the debate almost every year. So that's what we're dealing with now, and it's just going to be more exponentially noticeable in the more teams we add.
I agree with you. I think the Big Ten and the SEC are going to be considered equal by the committee, and then the ACC maybe even a leg up on the Big 12, because you're talking about the likes of Clemson and Florida State in that realm versus in Miami, the U, shout out. By the way, I want the U to go to the Big Ten. We're going to dominate the hell out of everybody.
You'd actually have to play in cold weather for a once. You'd be screwed.
No, all our home games, all our road games will not be above. Like, we're going to take on the West Coast teams. That's where we're going. We don't have to.
Hold on, you're going to travel across country, which is even farther than just going up north, which is far enough.
You're
going to avoid Ann Arbor and Columbus, and you don't want nothing to do with Lincoln, Nebraska. I know that. Last time Miami came to Lincoln, they got their butts whooped sideways, son.
I was at that game. That's the only game I've ever been to at Lincoln. God, that sucked.
That was great.
That was great. So, I think when we talk about the way that they're viewed, I think the ACCs can even have a little leg up on the Big 12. And then I do have a quick question for you before we get out of here. Actually, is there anything else that came to your mind from the last week that sparked your mind from what happened?
If you had to predict the next 2 teams to go to the Big Ten and the SEC, who in your opinion would it be? You have to make a prediction. If you get it wrong, you get 4 tattoos.
Clemson and Florida State, SEC.
Okay.
North Carolina, Virginia, Big Ten.
So Florida State, no. Eventually, okay, they got their granted rights deal. Eventually, do they go to one of those 2?
I think they go SEC. Florida State, Clemson, SEC, North Carolina, Virginia, Big Ten.
Was it Miami you left out? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, I did not put Miami on there at this point.
Where's Miami going? Are they not going anywhere?
I'd like to see them go to the Big 12. We have a shot.
Wow.
We're gonna hope that we have lightning in a bottle under Mario Cristobal and we get some wins together, because we can beat Big 12 teams. Like, we can beat up on Dion, we can beat up on TCU, but we can't probably beat up on Ohio State and Michigan. I'm gonna be honest. So
you're
I'd
taking
like to go
the
to
Notre Dame. You're taking the Notre Dame approach earlier.
Man. I'd rather have
you're not getting more
team.
money. You're not getting more money like Notre Dame would. You're not that important.
No.
All right. My next question is this, because now I'm starting to look at the Big 12. Okay, let's say the ACC does dissolve, the Pac-4 goes away, or is absolved by the Mountain West, or whatever they do. Who cares at this point? Honestly, no disrespect. Sorry, but it is what it is. Okay, now what does the Big 12 do? Do they look at a school like Oregon State and be like, well, at least we can get a foothold in Oregon? What about Washington State? A foothold? like I would, if I was the Big 12, then you answer this. I would say I'd like to at least have a foothold in those states. They're not going to bring in a ton of extra revenue, and then we got to divide the pie up with them. I don't know if that financially makes sense, but at least having a foothold in some of these states. Otherwise, who gets left out? Who is a Power 5 team that's no longer a Power 5 team? One that sticks out in my mind, there's actually two. Wake Forest, because you got 3 other North Carolina schools, and Cal, because you got 3 other California schools. What do you think?
I think academically, both of those institutions, and I heard Pete Thamel say this on ESPN this week, nothing makes school presidents titillate more. He didn't say it that way.
Titillate. I like that word. It's a good word.
Nothing makes school presidents titillate more than high academic universities. And from a private standpoint, Stanford is top of the line. Shot. The Big Ten hasn't scooped in and given them a deal. They are a perfect fit for the Big Ten. And Cal, as far as public universities, is like top 3 in the country. And so I'm shocked there. I am Wake Forest too. I would see them being a good fit in the Big Ten. I think if I'm the Big Ten, I'll take Duke, I'll take Wake Forest, I'll take North Carolina. Who cares? I mean, you're already to the point where numbers don't matter. And so
they're not going to divide up the pie that many more times. That's less money that they're getting. Plus those teams, they're not going to bring in that more eyeballs.
The networks more money. You say we got 30 teams, so
they won't do that.
Oh, they will too. They're going to go back to that.
Not the Big Ten or SEC. The Big 12 might. That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
No, dude, the Big Ten's going back for more, man. Yeah, dude, they're going back for more. They've already had their lawyers call their lawyers.
Not from those schools.
Yeah, well, they're just going to say numbers-wise. Like, we will have more games for you to broadcast.
All right, folks, in the comments below, let me know if you think that I'm right and if you think Jeff is wrong. Just simply let me know if I'm right and Jeff is wrong. That's it. Just let me know in the comments below.
All right, do you have any other questions for me?
Did you hear how I worded that? Did that go right over your head?
Yes, it skimmed over my baldness. All right.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, my final question is this. Now that we know Oregon and Washington, UCLA and USC are coming to the Big Ten, as a Husker fan, and I'm going to claim to be a Minnesota fan, even though I just claim them because I went to school there. What is the game that you're most excited about watching? Home or away against Oregon, against Washington, UCLA, or USC?
Well, the two that jump out to me are Oregon and USC. What'd you say?
I said one. You don't get to pick two. You get to pick
I'm
one.
narrowing it down. Gosh dang it. All right. Those are the two that popped into my head, but I'm going to go with USC. USC is one of the top 5 programs of all time, maybe even higher than that. So as a kid, I still remember watching Don James coached Washington team play Nebraska 2 years in a row. And 2 years in a row, we almost beat them, but we didn't. And one of those years, they won the national championship. So I still have those memories in my head. Plus, I grew up in the state of Washington, but I'm still going to go with USC.
And so are you more excited to see the Nebraska game at the Coliseum or Nebraska host USC?
Oh, in Lincoln.
Okay.
I played in the Coliseum. It's okay. I Lincoln, definitely looking forward to that.
Okay. Listen, the home games for the Gophers, it's much better than the Metrodome, but I still, instead of Huntington Bank Stadium, I can't wait to watch the Gophers, the mighty, mighty Gophers, roll up in to the Coliseum and bite the ankles of those Trojans and roll out of there with a dub, okay? I can't wait to see that. And then the second one, I don't know if you've ever seen a duck and a gopher fight, but the winner is always a Gopher. I'm looking forward to rolling up there as well, taking a little Phil Knight money and heading on back to Minneapolis. So those would be the two. I got to pick two. You only got to pick one. So that's going to do it for us today. Right. Check us out on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify, and our good friends at Jacobson Seed Company for bringing you the Big Ten Show, jacobsonseed.com. Again, less time in the fields, bigger yields, and you can watch more college football. Nothing better than that. Adam, we will get into some more, I'm sure, realignment next week. I'm tired of just talking to you, so I'm going to book us a guest for next week as well.
I wasn't even here last week. Unlike you, I spent time with my family.
My family hates me. So we will.
In all seriousness, this guy, you need to follow him on Twitter. He posts some of the best pictures of his kids. He's a big-time family man, slightly below average host, but a great dad.
I got to show you guys before we go. This is how great I am. This is my son today. Let me get at preschool. What do you think? We are such good parents. We don't teach our kids how to dress appropriately, okay?
Nice.
He's
dude.
wearing like the
Nice.
toga.
Nice.
His toga on today at preschool. That's how we roll.
You're setting the
Another
tone for
page
his
is turned here
academic
on the
career.
Big
Yeah.
He's a Trojan.
I
The
like
Big Ten. As another page is turned here on the Big Ten show, look forward to hanging out next week. Be well, y'all. We'll see you then.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast